What is up, YouTube, and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. Today I am bringing you a video on my September manga haul. We are looking at 55 plus volumes and it's a doozy. So I don't want to drag on the video, so I will just be talking about what books I got, what I think of the series or where I'm at, and then go from there. Again, I won't be pronouncing any authors or artist names just because I want to save face and also out of respect for, I don't want to butcher those names. So they are in the book, so if you need them, reference the book, Google, or whatever. I apologize in advance, but thank you for giving the video a click and a view. So without further ado, let's get started. In front of me, I have a Silent Voice. This is the super beautiful box set. This has been on my Amazon cart for a while now. It actually went on sale recently for 55 Canadian, so I decided to snap buy it. 55 for 7 books is an amazing price itself, and I was looking at box sets in general to kind of save myself money as I'm kind of plunging into this hobby. And yeah, this just looks really nice, and it's 7 volumes for cheaper than what it would cost to buy them individually. So I'm super stoked about it. I don't know if I'm gonna read it anytime soon. I have watched the anime for it, and I just wanted it as a collector piece. And if I do read it, it'll be somewhere down the line. But I'm super stoked to have it on my shelf. Moving on, excuse me, I have Hat Atelier 2, 3, 4, and 5. In my other video, I picked up volume 1 and instantly fell in love with it. It was super pretty and the storytelling was really well done. So I haven't actually got to these yet, but the art's continuing and stuff, and I'm just super stoked to get into to sink my teeth into this over a night. I think volume 8 or 9 just came out this week or last week, so I'll have to play some catch up, but I got 1 to 5 right now, and we're gonna keep chugging. Moving on, I finally picked up Hell's Paradise 1. This is a manga that I've heard a lot about, but I cannot find any volumes anywhere. So I do have volume 1 in front of me, and I haven't read it, nor will I read it until I can find the volume 2 and 3, or at least the 2. I just can't. I can't do 1 volume readings to start a manga just because I don't know if I'm going to be invested or not. So I'd rather buy them both at the same time. And if that happens to be, I can only find volume 1, I can't find volume 2, well, guess I don't pick up the series. But this one was pretty hyped, so I was, pretty eager to buy volume 1. And there was only 1 left on the shelf, and I saw someone eyeing it, so I had to cop it. Moving on. Oh, excuse me. This one I actually heard from a friend when I first started collecting manga. I had, sent some Snapchats to friends in my story and stuff, and they were just like, hey, have you heard about Solo Leveling? And I said, no, what's that? And he explained it, and I said, oh, it sounds really cool. Couldn't find it on the shelf, couldn't find it in stock in Amazon or Indigo. So I kind of just looked into it, and it looked really interesting. And then one day I just saw it on the shelf at Indigo. They actually had volume 1 and volume 2 in stock, and I'm really upset I didn't buy volume 2 now, because I had seen I knew that the hype was really high for this, but they had 4 volumes, and I figured there's no way they would sell it if I'd read this and come back for it. Well, the next day, after I had read this and went back, they were all sold out. So I'm stuck on the fence again. It is in stock on Amazon, so I might buy it soon, maybe next paycheck or for the next month for that manga haul. But this book's hefty, it's colored, it looks really nice, and it's definitely lived up to the hype. So I'm super stoked to get into it and hopefully find volume 2. The next book is Levious, volume 3. In my other video for last month's haul, I had read and bought volumes 1 and 2. I haven't gotten to volume 3 yet, but I'm super happy to get into this kind of dark gritty series. Hopefully I can find volume 4 and just keep chugging with it. This next one is Heaven's Design Team volume 3. I am caught up in this series in terms of reading. I have volume 1, 2, and 3, and I've read volumes 1, 2, and 3. It's a very lighthearted comedy about a bunch of angels designing animals that will inhabit Earth, sorry. And it's just good comedy fun. It's definitely very lighthearted and not meant to be taken seriously at all. It is small. It is a little small, so you can read this in about half an hour, if that. And yeah, it's not a series that I'm gonna eagerly go out and buy every time a new volume comes out. But if I'm looking and browsing and I see the next volume, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna read it eventually. But definitely a fan. This next one I bought purely for nostalgia sake. This is Pokemon Adventures Volume 1. I believe it goes 1 to 10. And yeah, like growing up playing Pokemon, like how could I not buy a book about like the OG 150? Because you know, when when I was playing Pokemon, you know, it was 151. Now we're at like 1,000 or something. But this was like a darker, grittier take on the series, I heard, so I decided to buy it. So it kind of appealed to nostalgia and like, okay, like let's take a deeper look at like my childhood. This next one, I'm Great Priest Imotep. I am always a fan of like Egyptian kind of lore and story and stuff, so I decided to buy Volume 1. And I really liked it, so I decided to, you know, continue the series. This is also a series that I don't really see on a lot of other people's manga hauls or collections, and I found that a lot of the times if I see a series that is, you know, one or two on the shelf and I haven't really seen or heard about it, chances are I'm probably buying it if it's like some sort of theme that I like. So this was one of those that happened to be that way, and yeah, hopefully I can read 2 and 3, and then hopefully I'm still going to like the series so that I can continue supporting the manga itself. Continuing on, Delicious in Dungeon 3 to 9, but I am missing Volume 8. I have picked up a bunch of these from Indigo, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. They are a little banged up, which is a little sad, but you know, like for saving myself some money here and there, it kind of matters to me. This is definitely a series that has caught me off guard. I really liked it, and it is, you know, it's not action packed or anything, but that's not what I was expecting going in. It is storytelling with, you know, lighthearted comedy as well as good character development. I am on Volume 5 right now, so I will get Volume 8 soon, and then I can kind of chug through 6 to 9. I think Volume 10 comes out next year or something, so, you know, I'm going to be fully caught up by then, hopefully. But yeah, just a super solid series, and definitely one that caught me off guard that I'm like really enjoying. And if you haven't checked it out and you're into like kind of like dungeon delving, maybe D&D and stuff, and you want like a good like chuckle here and there, this is a series that I would suggest picking up. All right, next up I have Sachis Monstrous Appetite Volume 4. I am completely caught up on this series. I have read 1 through 4, even at the making of this video. The premise behind this is, you know, a spirit slash demon known as Watari, which is Sachi, falls or is attracted to the main character whose name escapes me right now. Okay, I'm not gonna try and remember it, but she is attracted to him because of a smell that he gives off, and they end up living together. And the premise is that, you know, she might eat him, but the main character is infatuated with her as well, even knowing that she is this kind of Watari and stuff. But the scent that he's giving off is attractive to all these, you know, spirit demon things. So Sachi ends up protecting him, and it kind of makes like this. It's not really action based. Like if you see the character, she, you know, takes them out somewhat easily. It's just kind of like a side, not a side story, but like just kind of building on like her protecting him and stuff, because he's like an underdeveloped character, kind of like Deku when, you know, My Hero started. That was an unintentional shot. But yeah, like I'm like pretty interested in this, and it's there's not a lot of action or anything, but it's just nice kind of rom-com with a demonic twist, but still lighthearted. This next one is something that I have been collecting or wanting to collect since I was like a teenager. In high school, when I had like first debated about getting into manga, I had just finished watching Death Note, and I walked into an anime store and I was just like, well, goddamn, there's like sitting on the shelf a Death Note Black Edition Volume 1 and 2, and I bought them. And I've had them on my shelf forever, but obviously like I dropped because I didn't have a job or anything, so I could really fund the hobby. Well, since getting into the hobby, I have now completed that collection. This is the last one. Death Note Black Edition is literally just, you know, it's a black edition of the manga, but it looks super clean and super nice. Like I really like this, and I'm just happy that I now have the full series. And if you haven't checked out Death Note already, you probably should. Moving on, I have Monster, the Perfect Edition, I believe they're called, volumes 1 and 3. This was an anime that I watched a long time ago when I was when I first got into it, like during I had a really bad injury and I was stuck at home for a year that like got me into anime. And this anime was absolutely brilliant. Like it is really good piece of like suspense. And if you haven't watched it already, I suggest you do. But I have decided that I want to collect this series as a collector. I will probably read it like eventually, but I can't find volumes 2 and 4 anywhere right now. But like I am pretty content with wanting to complete this series, whether it's just to look really nice on a shelf or to like actually indulge myself in the future. But if you haven't heard about this series, I suggest you check it out, whether it's the book itself or watching the anime. Okay, this next one is Odokoi 123. After reading We Never Learn and like absolutely falling in love with that manga and Komi Can't Communicate, I decided that like I should be on the lookout for more kind of like rom-com stuff. And I've always been like interested in learning about like what otaku life is really about. So this one kind of caught my eye. Actually like read about it, went home and did research or whatever, and I was like, okay, cool, like I could pick this up. And then I went back like the next day and like they were sold out. So I actually had to wait a little bit longer, but I ended up buying volume 1 and 2 in a trip and then reading through them and being like, oh, okay, this is like pretty good. Like it's not something that I want to go, I need all these volumes right now. Like that was what Komi and We Never Learned did for me. This is like very middle for me. I'm enjoying them, but I don't have any like need or urge to continue to buy the next copy or find them like anywhere like Amazon or whatever. If I walk in Indigo and they have volume 4, I'm gonna buy it. Am I gonna read it right away? Probably not. But it's a series that like I am enjoying and I'm gonna continue reading, but not in like an eager kind of fashion. I think for me it's just that like how much I like Komi and We Never Learn kind of set the bar so high for kind of like rom-com stuff for me that it's very hard for certain like new series to like hit that peak. But that's not saying this is bad. It's just not up to my taste, I guess, but it's still good. All right. This next one is Finland Saga, Volume 1. This one, unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be keeping. I watched the anime first before buying this, but I was keen on starting this collection, and it looks really nice on a bookshelf, but I just don't think... Like, I reread this one after buying it, and I don't have that same flair or attraction I did as I watched the anime. I don't know if it's because this was, like, I watched the anime first, but... it's hard to find volume 2 for me and stuff, and even though it looks nice on a shelf, I don't want to put in the extra effort to find the other volumes. So this is going to sit on my shelf for now, but it's probably going to get resold or traded for something else that I actually do like. But, it's a super solid anime, and maybe if you haven't watched the anime first, you would get into the series itself. But the character itself, like Thorfinn and stuff, like I really liked in the anime, but again, like this just doesn't captivate me as much, and I don't know if it's partly because to how scarce it is to find other volumes. Moving on, Fire Punch 1, I can't find any other volume, so it's just sitting on my shelf, and I won't read it until I find other volumes, but I've heard good things about it, and it was the last copy on the shelf, so I copped it. Dog's Bullet and Carnage 1 and 2. This is just a series that I saw on the shelf. They're colored and they look really nice, and I kind of wanted like a post-apocalyptic kind of like fighting war scene kind of deal, and this is what came up. So, or this manga fills that need for me. Next up, moving on to the not as tall books, we got JJK. Everyone kind of knows about this series. It's really hyped, so I won't get into it that much, but just going to continue buying the volumes as they come out. This next one is Mashie Volume 2. This is, I believe I talked about it in my last video, but if I didn't, then it's basically about the character, or the main character, has no magic, but he lives in a magic kind of world, and magic is kind of like the trait to have to be successful in life. But he's overly powered when it comes to muscles, so his goal is to enter a magic school and make his way to the top without, letting people know that he doesn't have magic. It's really good comedy. I really liked it. It's written kind of like the One Punch Man kind of style, so that was already like a good hit for me. But yeah, I read this was a manga that I read like one volume at a time, because obviously this one came out not that long ago. But yeah, I'm super enjoying the series, and as they come out, I'm going to be buying them. This next one, Muscles Are Better Than Magic, I literally bought. I haven't read it yet. You can tell one is still shrink wrapped, but I bought because I like Mashie, and I thought that maybe like, you know, something that's kind of written the same kind of style I might get into. Haven't come up to a verdict on it yet because I haven't read this yet, but you know, I'm kind of interested in seeing if something can live up to the Mashie hype. Next up is a impulse buy. I really like zombies, and this kind of had that kind of zombie theme, and it had been a manga that I have never heard about, and they had volume 1 and 2, and it was the only one on the shelf, so I said, yep, take it, bring it up to cashier, ring me up, let's take it home. And then I researched it when I got home. But it does sound pretty sweet, and you know, the books do have some heft to it. It is a smaller book, but oh my god, Indigo, what are you doing? But I am pretty stoked about, knew they had another one. But I'm pretty stoked about what the series can become. I think Volume 3 comes out in December or January something. So once that one comes out, that's when I'll sink my teeth into this one. But like, just looking at the art and the, you know, the little preview they give you on the back, I am super hyped to get into this one. Next up, we have My Hero Academia Vigilance, whatever this word is. I do not like My Hero Academia. I just don't. I think the characters are kind of boring. If I was interested in that, it would only be because the villains were interesting. And yeah, I don't like the main character. I don't like the supporting good characters. The villains are where it's at, and there's not enough focus on the actual villain premise. That being said, I will pick up My Hero Academia Volume 24 because that one says My Villain Academia. But anyway, that's besides the point. What I'm getting at is I decided to try this series itself because I had heard that this was better for older people who wanted to like My Hero Academia. I've only read volumes 1 and 2, 3 is still shrink wrapped here, but I can see why people might like this one better. The characters are obviously like underpowered. If you don't know what the series is about, it's basically a spin-off series about a group of individuals who are not heroes and are either quirkless or have very crappy quirks. Or they're just not ready for, like, you know, the kind of hero exam or hero license. But they still want to help people. So they do, like, good deeds. You know, they pick up trash, help old ladies across the street, and, you know, get into fights with, like, villains who aren't big enough for the heroes to actually take down. A bunch of the heroes do make cameos. You can kind of see on the cover here. There's, like, All Might and Endeavor and Erasure and stuff. So like you will still see, you know, My Hero Academia characters, but I think from what I've read in volumes 1 and 2 that this is definitely a series that I will like more than My Hero Academia. So if you weren't really a fan of it, maybe give this one a shot, but I definitely do like this, and I think the world building in this is ultimately going to be better because it's focused on kind of like the dark streets or like the, you know, the small cities and towns that the My Hero focuses on or doesn't focus on, because it's all about the school and, you know, just taking down villains. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna probably pick up all the volumes. I think it's up to like 9 or 10 right now, so we'll see. But yeah, volumes 1 and 2, super stoked. Next up, we have Black Clovers volumes 1 to 3. This was just one of those I watched the anime first, and I really got into the anime, so I want to collect the manga. I only have volumes 1 to 3. I can't find 4 right now. I don't know if it's like a short print or just hard to find, but I do intend on collecting them to have on my shelf. But I did enjoy the anime, so this is purely for collector's purpose. I don't know if I'll read it, but we'll see. Persona 5 Volume 2. This was... I really like the game, so I wanted to have, you know, the manga on my shelf. I already know about all the story, and I've played, you know, Strikers too. I'm just a big Persona fan, and when I found out that this was actually a manga, I decided to buy it. I have volumes 1 and 2. I have to catch up on the rest of the series, but this is one that I'm not like eager to buy just because it's just going to sit on my shelf for, you know, support of Persona itself. This next one is one that I'm pretty into. It's Orient. This is volume 4. There's an anime coming out somewhat soon, so I decided that's initially what brought me to buy this. It's also from the creator of Manga, and that anime I really liked. I'm not collecting that manga itself, but this one I am. I am not deep. Sorry, I am 3 volumes in, and I am really like digging the story. So I know that I'm going to continue buying and supporting this manga itself. This one's still shrink wrapped. I will get to it eventually, but I think when the anime does get a full release date, I'll probably like start diving into this a lot more. But I am pretty caught up, so I don't feel like not threatened, but I don't feel like I'm behind or anything. Chainsaw Man 6, not much to say. It's Chainsaw Man. I'm missing Volume 2, but I have every other volume, so let's hope I find Volume 2 soon so I can catch up, because I've only read Volume 1, and that volume was lit. We Never Learned, Volume 13. If you watch my other video, I got 1 to 12 in like a month, so I have caught up. I have bought 13, I have read 13, and I will, you know, buy 14, 15, and 16, or whatever it's at. But just, I super dig this series. Okay, approaching the end here. More Bakuman. This was, again, my all-time favorite non-sports anime. So, just continuing to buying the manga itself, the volumes individually, so that I can try and just have the complete section 1 to 20. I think now I am missing 6 volumes, 7 volumes. 6 or 7 volumes is what I'm missing, but I'm getting close there, and I'm like, I'm just happy that I can have this on my shelf and support, you know, such a great anime and manga itself. The last one, so I bought a bunch of Haikyuu. Like, I think I bought like 12 volumes this month, but I don't want to pull them all out of my shelf because that takes a lot of work and reorganization. So I just pulled out the newest one that I have, which is 45. It is like, you know, time skip, so I don't want to spoil anything for you. But yeah, this was just, you know, I'm buying to collect, and because I want to read what happened post time skip, although I am pretty caught up now because I also read it online, but I do want to collect these series. So this plus like imagine 10 other volumes here. But that's pretty much it for my September haul. My October one is probably looking not as big, but I also said that about the September haul, so we'll see. But it is Black Friday, or not Black Friday, but October is spooky month, so I am going to be getting into kind of a Halloween theme, maybe looking at a bunch of zombie theme stuff. And then November is a fat one. This is what I meant. This November is like, you know, Black Friday plus my birthday, so that month might be, you know, pretty fat. And when I say pretty fat, I mean pretty fat. So we'll see. But thank you for joining me. This was a heftier haul, and I, you know, appreciate if you watch all the way through. If you do like, please, you know, comment, like, subscribe, get those notifications. And yeah, enjoy whatever manga or whatever you're doing.